Okay, guys, welcome to our weekly training. How are we all doing, guys? How are we all doing? Okay, so last week was a very slow week. Pretty much no profitable setup last week. So the trade setups channel was very silent. Okay, because it's best not to trade good setups than to trade shitty setups and then only losing money. Remember, we are not trading because we feel like trading. Okay, we are trading because we see a profitable setup, a perfect setup that has the potential to make us money. And like I always say, okay, you don't really need more than one or two setups in a month, right, to hit your target. You can make good money with one setup. Right. So, and then the previous week, the upper week, is the upper week they call it. Last 2 weeks ago, we had a very good week, and the week before that as well. So last week was just a week that we didn't see very good setups. Okay. But let's see what's going on the charts this week real quick, and then we'll wait for the setups to align. Now, guys, when you're analyzing, always keep the checklist very close. Let me bring out that checklist. Okay. Don't assume that you know it offhand. Okay. I still bring out my checklist even up till this day. Okay. So just to be sure that I'm following this 7-step checklist, right? You don't want to be overconfident and then forget the basics, right? So let us so step 1 on checklist is going to identify market structure. Either it is on an uptrend or a downtrend. Once you do that, you want to identify your breakup structure, identify supply and demand zone, and then mapping, you go to lower time frame, then correlation, trading session, and entry techniques. So let's analyze Euro USD real quick. Okay, now this particular setup, I've been seeing it. So let's start on the monthly to have a good perspective of Euro USD. So this is a monthly chart. This guy is on an overall downtrend. Okay. Let's see. It's on a downtrend. And then we are seeing a retracement. We are seeing something like this. All right. Hold on. Something like this. The price is back to a demand zone. All right. And then this. So price is back. So price has not created a higher high yet. Okay. So price is here. Price is retracing back to this demand area. Okay. Now you can also see from the monthly. Now price didn't break this higher high zone, so maybe price wants to go down to follow the overall trend, the overall downtrend, because we see that over here this supply zone was expected. Okay, Mr. Hafiz, how you doing? Mute yourself so that let me mute you. Okay, good. Let's go on. Now we can see that over here, overall downtrend. Okay. And then price will trace to this supply zone here, this CP pattern, the collision pattern here. And then price is respecting that supply. So we are seeing a move here. For this retracement, this higher high was not broken. Okay, so that means there's no enough for so, and then we see this move to the downside impulse, correction, impulse. All right. So most likely we will see a move to the downside, or we see a move to where a move that will take us up for the retracement. So we might see price come to this demand zone, this supply zone, drop, base drop over here, or over here, rally base drop, or somewhere around here. Okay, so that's our buyers on the monthly. Let's check out what's going on the weekly chart. So weekly charts, we have this. Okay, so what I want to do is to most likely see a trade that will take us up, or see a trade that will take us all the way down. Now, what do we have here? We are seeing this on the weekly. We are seeing impulse, correction, impulse. Okay, we are seeing this. What's going on? Seeing impulse, correction, impulse, and then you see this correction as well. Okay, you see this. So most likely we are waiting for what? We can see this break of structure here. So most likely we are seeing a retracement into this supply zone here, rally base drop here. So can we find a move that will take us to this supply zone here? Okay, rally base drop over here. So let's check out if you see a setup on the daily or 4 hours that we can use to follow the move to the upside. That's on Euro USD. And then when price gets here as well, we can most likely look for a sell as well. Okay, so let's go to the daily. What do we have on the daily? Nothing. Okay, let's check the 4 hours. Okay, nothing on the 4 hours. What can we see on the 4 hours? Go to line charts. We can see an uptrend in 4 hours. You can see the uptrend, right? Okay, so if price should come back into this demand area, we can look for a buy here. Yes, we can find a buy here. You're right, Mr. Please. So let's see. Let's identify that zone. Let's go back to the chart. Okay, you can see drop, base, rally. So this right here is a swing demand. Okay, so if we see price move all the way down here, so on the 15-minute chart, we can now look for a break of structure entry. So hopefully we see a retracement here. Okay, so that is one possible setup. Now there's another one that I saw sometime last week. Hold on. If I can know where I found it. I'm not sure. I saw a setup on Euro USD last week. I'm trying to figure out the time frame that I saw it. And then it created another block actually that failed. Now I didn't post it on the group last week because I didn't see enough correlation. So I said I wouldn't post it. And then because there was no correlation, that zone was actually broken. So a lot of people that took that trade would have lost some money. Hold on, give me a second. Let me see if I can find that particular setup. Okay, oh well, I can't find it. So let us wait for this particular setup here. So hopefully we see a retracement on the 4 hours on Euro USD. When price gets back to this supply zone, we want to look for a buy. Okay, so if price does not do that, we can see a very, very strong move to the upside. Okay, So when price gets here as well, we can look for a sell opportunity. Okay. So when that aligns as well, I'll post it on the group. So what do we have to do? They are drawing something on the screen. Hold on. Security. Okay, good. So now what do we do over here? Just come here and then you set your alert so that when price gets here, you want to be notified that it's time to enter the possible trade setup we create. So we are good to go on Euro USD. Okay, so let's check out another pair. Which pair should we check out? So just type it in the chat box and then we look at. Let's check out Euro CHF. Yeah, Euro CHF. So let's start from the monthly. Euro CHF, this particular pair is, I don't like to do this pair, but let's see. It has been on a downtrend. Okay, AUD USD. Okay, let's do after this pair. Now, Euro CHF, as you can see on the monthly, has been on the downtrend. Okay, and then most recently, a lower low was created here. Okay, let's go to the weekly. Okay, this is the breakout structure on the monthly chart. All right, so before we can sell here, we are waiting for price to come into this supply zone or this supply zone here. Okay, so let's see if we can find a possible setup that we can use to ride the trend up to these places. All right, so let's go to daily. Okay, so nothing yet on this chart. Let's go to 4 hours. Okay, all the other. Good. So we have a trend here on the 4 hours. So we can identify this impulse, correction, impulse. Okay. So right now you want to wait for price to come back to this demand zone here, draw base rally over here. So if price should come back into this zone using the break of structural entry, if price should come back here, you want to look for a buy setup. And then what do we do to know when price gets there? Just come here, set your alert. So when price gets into that point, you know exactly what you need to do. All right. So when that aligns, I'll post it on the trade setups channel. Now, let me tell you why trading this way is very, very important. Now, why is it that a lot of retail traders lose money? For people that are trading retail concepts, you know, once they identified this uptrend, for example, this impulse, correction, impulse, what they were taught is to sell, is to buy. So this is the higher high, the previous structure. So what they'll be doing is to do break and retest. So when price gets here, okay, they want to sell, they want to buy at this particular point because this is the last structural area. Okay, so when they buy here, I can assure you that a lot of people's stop losses will be taken out. So they will push price into this point. Okay, and then this, because this point, they will have gathered a lot of liquidity. All right, so that is what will push the market all the way up. So if this setup aligns, okay, it's going to be a very, very, very good setup. And then we are going to ride the wave, okay, possibly to this point for the retracement. Okay. So that's a very, very long ride. So there's huge potential on Euro CHF. Okay. So let us check out AED USD. AED USD. Okay. So let's start from the monthly. So what do you have on AED USD? On the monthly chart. Okay. So a downtrend. Supply zone is in control. Let's go to the weekly. Okay. So let's start from here. They're seeing this. Okay. Yes, and then price didn't really come to a supply. Okay. Now, what can we see from here as well? You can also see price doing this impulse correction, impulse, and then price is back to a demand zone. Looking at this, so this is a demand area. And then, as you can see, they've taken out some liquidity here with this move. The liquidity that has been grabbed here. Okay. So if we are using this particular setup, and then price still needs to, so based on this is a demand zone, and then based on this downtrend, price hasn't come to a supply zone yet. So price most likely need to come to this place, hopefully. Okay. And then for this move here, now a lot of things might actually happen on this trade, because when you look at this, move down, so that's why you have to be very careful. Impulse, correction, impulse. Okay. Now we saw price move all the way up a bit, right? But I'm not seeing I'm not sure if we can call this a drop-based drop, even though it might work. But I like to wait for price to come to a swing, and then price is back to this zone here. Now, for all we know, there might be a huge break of this structure, because this is still a structural point in the market. There might be a huge break. This green candle that's forming might just be something to trick people into the trade, to make them think that, okay, this is a buy. But then they use that to gather liquidity, and then they push price down, take out stop loss, and then move price back up. So we don't know yet. So we have to be very, very careful about what we do on AD USD. So that's why we need to also check for correlation. But let's go on and analyze this pair. So let's go to lower time frame. So if we are looking at this is the monthly, and then price has already gone beyond 50% as well. Over here is where price, we see price here. Okay. So if price came here into the demand zone, and then we are expecting price to come up here. Okay. Now weekly chart, let's go to 4-hour chart and see something. So if you go to 4-hour chart, over here is where that happened. Now you also see, so did everything. You see this other block here, drop, base, rally. So over here is the other block. That's Euro AD USD. So what we can do now is to wait. So if you had entered here, you can see you'd have been in serious drawdown and possibly close your trade. But what we can do is that this other block is still very, very valid. If we see price come back down to retest this other block here, okay, we might be in for a very, very good trade up. Okay, so I would also look at this trade at entering here, but it's going to be a swing trade because it's on the 4-hour chart. So this other block is valid. Now, why is it valid? Because of this this weekly move here. Okay, price is in a demand area, so we want to buy, and then we're also buying because of our buyers that price has not retraced to a supply zone yet. Okay, and then we also see liquidity being grabbed here. So if they are grabbing liquidity, okay, price is in a demand area, price has not fully retraced to a supply level. Okay, so that is what is making sense to us. Okay, so on the 4-hour now, for the entry, we are seeing that price has, you can see the reaction at that demand order block on the 4-hour chart. So the other block is still valid. So if we see a retracement to this downside here, it will be a very good opportunity to buy this particular pair. Okay, so we've set an alert for that to happen. So this might happen maybe on Wednesday or Thursday or next week. Whenever it happens, it happens. So that's why we have an alert here to let us know when price gets back into the zone. So as well, if price will come back down into the zone, okay, if you want to do intraday or scalp, you can look for a downtrend move that you can use to sell price to this place. So let's go to lower time frame like the 1 hour. Let's see if we have something that we can use to sell the market down. Not we don't. So let's go to 15 minutes. Okay, so nothing really. Nothing really. So we just for now, this is what's no, not really. Scalping is not dangerous. It depends on your type of person. Okay, and then remember I told you that the market is fractal. What goes on higher time frame also goes on lower time frame. Understand? So it's just, if you are scalping, you just see a lot of possible setups. Okay, and then you have a lot of setups with the same kind of risk, with the same kind of win rates as a higher time frame. So for example, if you are scalping and let's say each day you are seeing like 10 trades a day, so that means you might lose like 3 or 4, win 6. But when you're trading on a higher time frame, you are seeing like maybe 10 trades in a month. So before you lose, you lose less on higher time frames because you are seeing less setups. You understand? So the market is fractal. You just need to stick to the checklist. Just start, work your way down, and then you want to follow market structure. You understand? Okay, but personally, I like to take entries most of the time. Least I like to look for setups on the 4 hours and then take entries maybe on the 15 minutes. Okay. When I'm taking entries on the 3 minutes or 1 minute, because of spread and all those things, it might eat into your supposed profit. It might eat into your supposed profit. So do your best to look for entries on the 15 minutes or 10 minutes maximum, so that you have more profitable setups. So that's about AUD/USD. And then we should see the same thing most likely on NZD/USD as well. Let's see NZD/USD. NZD/USD, where is you? Where is good? So yeah, some of the same thing as NZD/USD. Some of the same thing. Let's go to the weekly. Okay. On the weekly, what do we see? Okay, so I think there's correlation on this pair. Hold on. Okay. So we go to the 4 hours. Which is downtrend? It, the USD card, Mr. Fizz. So there is correlation on NZD USD downtrend. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let me show you the correlation I'm saying. Now, when you go to the weekly, we are seeing the same thing on AUD USD and NZD. We are seeing this downtrend move here. Impulse, correction, impulse. Impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. Now we are seeing this. There's a break of structure. Now we're expecting price to retrace, right, into maybe this drop-based drop or into this supply zone. So we should expect some sort of retracement into the zones, right? So, but before price can retrace, it is something, it's a demand zone that it will take up from. And then we are seeing this here. We are seeing an uptrend here, like this. Okay. And then price is back into this demand area, into this drop-based rally. And then there's a confluence here. So this is a demand area. And then if you look at the 50% of this zone, so price has gotten to the 50%. Okay, so it makes sense for us right here now. Let me remove all of this to start looking for a buy opportunity for the retracement. Okay, it is on a downtrend, well and good. Okay, but there has to be a retracement. So if this setup aligns, so we are seeing a similar thing as well on AUD/USD. Remember correlation. So that might give us confidence that retracement will happen. So price has gotten here. So go to your mapping 4 hours. Okay, so this is another block here. Drop base rally. So this is another block here. Okay, we already have a break of structure over here. This is a break of structure. Price has broken this structural area. So if we see price retrace all the way down here, you want to look for an entry. Okay, so if price gets here on this particular pair and on AD USD, price also comes down here, we are seeing this break of structure as well. Okay, so that's a good confluence, a good correlation to let you know that okay, there's about to be volume on those two pairs. Okay, so let's put an alert on this guy as well. So this might happen this week or next week, we don't know. So let's just set an alert. Create. So let's check out the one you asked for. Let's check out a That's USD card, right? USD card. USD card. USD card. So let's go to the monthly. USD card and card JPY are correlated. So you want to find the same inverse correlation on those pairs as well before you enter. So but let's check out what's going on this guy. So I can see what this guy doing. Okay. Let's start from this that makes sense to me. Over here, see. Okay, and then we are seeing a retracement to the upside. Let's go to the weekly to make sense of what's going on with this guy. So that retracement on the weekly, we are seeing a little bit of uptrend here. All right. Let's go to the daily now. We have been doing, let's go to daily charts. What do we see on daily? Okay, so on the daily charts. USD card is not clear to me. The only thing making sense on this pair right now is this guy here. And then price is back at this supply zone. And then there's a possible move, but there is a confluence of supply. This is a supply zone as well. Right here is a supply zone. So if you go to the high time frame, the weekly chart is telling us that price. So this is what's going on the weekly chart. We are saying impulse. Okay, if you can see, let's use the line chart. I think it will come in handy. So this line chart is telling us price is on an uptrend on USD card. Okay, uptrend on the weekly. So over here we see something like this. High. So price is coming up from having this base rally from a demand area. So we are seeing a possible, if this demand area is strong enough, we are seeing a possible break to create a higher high. So ultimately, it will be good to look for buy setups so that we can break this higher high zone here, because that's the trend on the higher time frame. All right. Now, let's go to the daily chart and see what can make sense to us on the daily. And then we are seeing the retracement. We've seen the drill happen. We are seeing the move up now. Let's go to the daily chart. So this guy on the daily charts, we are saying, okay, I think we can call this a trend as well. If you check it out. Okay. The impulse, correction impulse. So if price should come back to this demand area, you can buy here. Okay, so this is a demand zone. It's like that. Drop base So we can use this over here. Now, if price should come down here, the price should come down to this place. That means we can follow a trend to this downside on the lower time frame. Okay, so right now we don't have a setup yet for the buy, but can we enter the retracement to this demand zone? So on daily, we also see something. See this impulse, correction, impulse, correction. So price is at a supply area. So let's identify that supply zone real quick. See this rally base drop. So this also coincides with the rally base drop. So what do? We'll put it also into consideration. So we'll take everything together from here to top here. So let's find the 50% of the zone. Zero perfect. Good. So price already hit the 50% zone. So let's look for another block on lower time frame. So let's do our mapping. So let's go to like the 30 minutes. So on the 30 minutes, what do we see here? Okay. So we see some form of equal high, which let us know that our price might want to take a liquidity here once price gets here. But this is another block. So you can see rally base drop. Okay. Over here. And then we've already seen the break of structure, this one. This break of structure. This is break of structure, the broken structure here. So now you're waiting for price to retrace into the zone. So when price gets into the zone, you don't want to sell. But be very, very careful here because this is a setup for liquidity graph. Because you are seeing this M pattern here. So what will let you know exactly when the trade is ready to go is your confirmation on the correlated pair. Will let you know exactly when you should enter this trade. Okay, so if you check out CAD JPY, let's check out CAD JPY to see what's going on this guy. So if USD CAD is buying, CAD JPY should be selling. All right. So let's try and find the same setup on those guys. So I think this is a daily. In a second. So on USD CAD, we are looking for what exactly? For a sell, right? So on CAD JPY, let's find a buy on CAD JPY. Let's try to buy on CAD. So let's go to daily chart. Start for the monthly. Okay. So we see a break of structure on the monthly. Let's see the retracement. So this is a weekly chart on CAD JPY. Impulse, correction, impulse. Price reacted at a demand zone. So it's currently active right now. Price is also back to its upper level. Let's go to the daily chart to see what's going on this guy. So we are seeing this move on CAD-JPY, impulse, correction, impulse. All right. So possibly we're expecting price to come back to this upside on CAD-JPY, rally base drop over here. This is a daily chart here. I'm trying to look for a correlation. Hold on, let me go back to USD CAD and see what I saw. What did I see on this guy? Price at a supply zone on daily. And we see a price at the demand zone on USD CAD. Okay, so I'm not seeing a very strong correlation, guys, on CAD-JPY and USD CAD. Because this is the breakout structure for the uptrend. Okay. Okay. You can see a rally base rally here. Rally base rally. Okay. Over here. So if you go to 30 minutes, go to 30 minutes, what can we see on the 30 minutes? Okay. So this is a demand zone of 30 minutes. So if price should come back here on CAD-JPY, and then when if price get here on CAD-JPY, and it's that same time that price aligns on USD CAD for a sell. Remember, USD CAD, we are waiting for a sell. For CAD-JPY, we are waiting for a buy. Okay, if that aligns at the same time, let you know that, okay, this is a very, very good setup. Let's see how many pips from here to here, like 88, 90 pips for USD CAD, how many pips? Almost the same thing, 90 pips, 95 pips on USD CAD, about 88 pips on CAD-JPY. So it's pretty much similar. So if price at the same time aligns at this zone on those two pairs, it will let you know the exact time that you should enter. So these are very, very good. So let's set our alerts here. Okay, so this might happen most likely this week, depending on the volume in the market this week. So I'll set up alert on those two pairs over here. Is that clear, sir? Mr. Fitz, does it make sense to you? Just let me know in the chat box. Okay, awesome. So let's check out one last trade. Okay, one last trade, and then we're done. So after this session, I'll go over a lot of these pairs and then find an immediate one that we can trade. But because of time, I don't want to take too much of our time. So let's check out another pair that, let's check out GBP. Let's check out GBP. Let's see what's going on with this guy. GBP on the monthly chart. These guys are similar to AED USD and USD. Yeah, sure. No problem. Money will come. This is similar to AED USD. So let's check out GBP. Now this guy has been doing anyhow. So it's on an uptrend. You're seeing this break of structure here. If you can see this break of structure. So we're expecting price to retrace into a demand zone. So let's go to lower time frame, like daily, and see if we see a retracement. So nothing yet on GBP/AUD that we can say we want to trade. So another thing is, so if this happens, price should get here on the 4 hours. All right, so you can look for a buy opportunity on the 15 minutes chart. Okay, so these are the immediate trade that we can take on GBP/AUD. Okay, on the 4-hour chart. So let's put a lot on this. A lot. Okay. So before that happens as well. Okay, good. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions in the group. And if you need one-on-one time with me, please let me know, and then we'll schedule a one-on-one session. I'll go over all of these pairs tonight, and then as usual, when I see a very good seller that is closed, I'll post the updates on the channel. Okay. Do you have any questions, sir? Any questions before we call it a night? Yes, your funding is, you have qualified now. So I told you, I sent you all the details, right? It has to be after 30 days. Is it after 30 days? It's not up to a month yet. So you get it after you have qualified. So after 30 days, okay, you get it. Okay, so you can just chat me up privately, and then I'll explain more to you about it. There's no problem about your funding. Okay. All right. So thank you so much for coming on board. I wish you a very, very profitable trading week. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.